Hey, Mike, another big value that our agent get here at Realty Group is broker support. And a lot of people, that's like a buzzword, broker support, broker support. But what does that really mean? And especially today in this environment with all these changes happening with an NAR, can you talk a little bit about broker support here at Realty Group?
Man, I gotta tell you though, so even before we talk about broker support at Realty Group, let's just talk about what we constantly hear in every single recruiting pitch, every single conversation about why somebody's company is so great. We give support. It's always support. It's always the same things, right? Support, leads,
training.
Yeah, training. So you always hear the same buzzwords, right? We don't like to talk about buzzwords. We like to talk about actual outcomes. And one of the outcomes that we've seen, hands down right now, what's being exposed, is the lack of actual local support. When these changes really came into effect in August here with NAR and the settlement, I guess what we're really finding is that agents are confused, are extremely confused by what these changes mean. Every single company, every broker, even a lot of different attorneys, MLSs are all interpreting things differently. So how the heck can we do business together when we all think about these changes differently? I can't think of a single time in the last 15 years that there's been such an exposure with a company, like they're being exposed, whether or not they have the support that's really necessary. Because, like anything else, you don't think about it when you don't need it, right? But when you need it and you reach out for it and it's not there or not really robust enough, now we know we have a problem.
You're right, Mike, because some companies are very big and they might be national.
Yeah.
So they may only have one broker in the state and try to field hundreds, if not thousands of calls about all this confusing changes going on right now in NAR, because of what's happening out there. Whereas at Realty Group, we actually have a broker hotline that when our agents call in, what happens?
So long, it was almost like we're built for this, right? We had a crystal ball that we knew someday that something would happen in real estate that would actually put us to task. Our agents enjoy the benefit that when they need to talk to a broker or get professional advice, especially when it comes down to something so important and in real time is this NAR thing that's happening. Again, all the confusion, all the uncertainty, quite frankly, the lack of confidence in a lot of these situations on what they're supposed to do.
One thing, Mike, about our broker services hotline is when an agent call in, it rings to like 6 phones, 6 brokers on a support team member on there to answer questions. And Mike, not just about all the big NAR changes, but also how to save deals and how to emotionally keep people in check. Can you explain the benefits of the broker services line?
Typically long, take NAR out of it, we're usually between 300 and 500 conversations per week between our agents and our broker services support staff. Now, when the NAR changes started to take effect, it put that on rocket fuel. We're talking about hundreds upon hundreds of phone calls, emails, text messages going out from agents to our broker support staff on a weekly basis. What I'm super proud of, Long, is the fact that our broker support staff will answer that phone call 85% of the time on every call. And for the 15% that they don't answer, there's a working response time of less than 1/2 an hour. The biggest complaint, and you hear it as a recruiter, you hear it all the time. What's the biggest complaint agents have in the industry with the company they're with?
Calling the broker, never heard back, or by the time they hear back, the broker doesn't even have the answer.
It isn't great because a lot of these agents are very autonomous, right? They don't need a lot of support. But when they reach out for something big, that one time, and there's nobody there to pick up, that's a deal killer for many agents. Let's talk about things in terms of outcomes, right? So what does that really equate to in the real world? Well, our broker services staff has saved more than 600 transactions from cancellation. They've saved more than $4 million in commission activities and GCI. They've saved $2 million in personal liabilities. They've either prevented or helped win around 70 enforcement actions, whether we're talking about ethics or arbitrations. Our broker services staff is there side by side with our agents to help support and defend our agent and our clients through difficult situations. And as much as I do in a people business, Long, sometimes all they need to know is that A, you're there and that you care. Nothing says that more than our broker services department. And I'll tell you, Long, all the things we're talking about, that's pre-NAR settlement. The NAR settlement has put us to task because our agents, like everybody else out there, is trying to navigate a changing and shifting reality. And when I say changing and shifting, I mean in real time on the daily, which, by the way, as you know, it's unique because a lot of broker support from other companies is coming from people, even though their intention is good, they don't necessarily have the most current and relevant experience that you need today in today's market. And that's where I think we're different in that sense.
What's unique about our broker services department is that all of our members are actively still doing real estate versus a lot of company, it's either only one, that service thousands of agents, or they don't practice real estate anymore. So they're not even current or relevant on the situation they have to deal with. And our broker services advocate and fight for our agents when they need us.
So Long, I think it's safe to say the way that we're approaching the NAR settlements, the way we approach everything, which would be leading from the front, servant leadership, with the intention of being a true partner and value to every single one of our hundreds of real estate agents.
That's just one of the many values we offer here at Realty Group. So would love to talk with you on a confidential meeting with myself or Mike to learn more about Realty Group and many other values we provide here besides our broker services.